Hi everybody, apologies for the traffic noise that you'll probably be able to hear, so I'll actually bring it a bit closer so hopefully you can hear quite clearly. Like so many of us, I was keenly watching the SCOTUS vlog to see what would happen this morning for me at 9:30, and of course at 9:34 discovered the list of writs of certiorari that weren't granted. There were about 6 pages worth of non-grants and only 7 cases that they actually heard that have been granted. My immediate thought was, well, I was immediately reminded of the words of Steve Drizin in Making a Murderer when he describes the case as being too much of a heater. And it would appear that the case is such a big heater that even the Supreme Court of the United States don't wish to look at it. They have washed their hands of it, and to my mind they have proven beyond a shadow of doubt that they are merely cowards, and that it's too big a thing for them. So my next question would be, well, what is it about the case that is so big? You know, the investigation into the disappearance and supposed murder of Teresa Halbach, you know, is why is it such a big thing? If it was a simple homicide case, what has caused it to become such a big thing? And I think the answer is quite simple. It's because of the corruption over there in Wisconsin. When it goes as high as the Attorney General's office, when Peg Leixalaga was still alive, clearly that's where the problem lies in this case. The fact that it goes so high up the food chain that, you know, even the Supreme Court of the United States are not going to look at something that will expose the corruption within Wisconsin and within the top echelons of government over there. So as I say, I'm going to stick with my words that they're merely cowards, those judges, absolute cowards. I was very shocked at the en banc oral arguments, just how sort of opposed the two sides were. You know, clearly you've got the 3 judges that could see sense, and you've got the other 4 that couldn't see any sense whatsoever, and that was immediately disconcerting. I saw a tweet by Jerry Buting mentioning the American justice system, and I've simply replied with, American justice? Are you having a laugh? Seriously? Justice? You think it's justice? I don't think many people accept it as justice, and I think people are beginning to wake up and realise just how much corruption there is. It's just absolutely unbelievable. As I said, I wasn't going to make a video, but Eric Cozy asked if we would, and sort of spread the fact that, you know, we're not going anywhere. We're still here. We're still here. We're good. You know, we've spent we've spent a lot of time looking into this case, discussing it. You know, and we're going to continue discussing it. Personally, I've said this to a few people, that I've always felt all along that you know, it's probably going to be Kathleen Zellner that's going to bust this case wide open. I would have loved for it to have been Laura Nyrider and Steve Drizin to have got it into the Supreme Court and make the judges listen to what's happening. But he that expecteth nothing shall not be disappointed, and you know, I didn't expect anything today, to be honest. There is always this nagging doubt in my mind that, as I said, as Steve Drizin said, it's too big a heater, and I'll come back to that again. Why is it such a big heater if it's simply a homicide investigation that was done poorly? It's clearly far more than that, and the sooner the people begin to wake up and realise, you know, just what's involved here. You know, that you know, Stephen Avery was framed for one simple reason, and that was to get rid of not just his lawsuit, but the pending other, you know, 40, 60, 100, you know, how many other cases were going to then step forward and also cost millions. Yeah, look into the future. there's certainly, you know, I'm absolutely sure that the lawyers are going to redouble their efforts, and start over again, and keep going. It's certainly nothing that I don't think that you know, that the lawyers have done wrong. I don't think that they've done anything wrong. I do, and I don't want to seem as if I'm getting on at, you know, the stars of making a murderer, but I think it's time for them to stop, you know, to start calling a spade, and tell us exactly what sort of corrupt forces they were up against, and they are still up against, because, you know, it's clearly a problem over there. We need to get to the bottom of it. You know, if Steve and Brendan were released, great, but until we get the truth, there is no justice. Anyway, that's just a quick message of, you know, just to say, you know, we continue to support Steve and Brendan, and you know, it's one setback. Yeah, you know, I won't try and belittle that setback. It is a big setback, particularly I think for the supporters that were so hoping to, well, even I'd sort of started making plans for, you know, going across to Washington sometime in November, but they will have to be put on hold. Redemption will have to wait, as somebody once famously said. Anyway, I've kept you long enough today. Catch you soon. Bye for now.